Welcome to Young Patriots.
Is Ibrahim Traoré the man who just exposed the West's deepest weakness? Or is this something much bigger? A movement across Africa that could flip the global economy on its head. Tonight, we dive into a story shaking boardrooms in Paris, London, and Washington, because 10 African nations have just banned raw exports and the West is panicking. For decades, the West ran on a quiet assumption. Africa would always provide a steady stream of cheap raw materials. Oil, gold, uranium, lithium, the essentials that kept factories running, smartphones powered, and electric cars on the road. From Paris to New York, Western prosperity was quietly built on African soil. But now the script is changing. African nations are drawing a line. They're saying, no more giveaways, no more dependency, no more crumbs while others feast. This is not some minor trade adjustment. This is a revolution in global economics, and Ibrahim Traoré's name is at the center of it. In Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has made one of the boldest moves in modern African history. For years, Burkina's gold was siphoned off by foreign corporations, refined abroad, and sold back at huge markups. Local communities saw little benefit, while French companies like Orano and Canadian miners grew rich. Traoré changed the rules. He nationalized gold operations, seized back control of mining sites, and demanded that a large share of Burkina's gold stay at home. The result? For the first time in decades, Burkina Faso is building its own gold reserves, not padding the reserves of the French treasury. And that's just the beginning. Keep watching, because it gets deeper. Ibrahim Traoré's Burkina Faso isn't acting alone. Across the Sahel, other nations are following. Niger, for instance, stunned the world when it slammed restrictions on uranium exports and kicked out French nuclear giant Orano. Let's not forget, nearly 70% of France's electricity grid runs on nuclear energy. And where does much of that uranium come from? Niger. But while French cities glowed with cheap power, Niger remained in darkness, one of the poorest nations on earth. That old deal is over. With Ibrahim Traoré supporting Niger's leadership in the alliance of Sahel states, Niger is reclaiming its uranium wealth, sending a chilling message to Paris. Your energy lifeline is no longer guaranteed. Here's where the story really takes a turn. If France was truly energy independent, why is it panicking now? Mali is marching down the same road. Once dominated by French interests, Mali has declared its gold is no longer a foreign handout. The Malian government, inspired by Ibrahim Traoré's anti-colonial fire, has tightened its grip on mining operations, restricting exports and boosting domestic refining. For years, Mali was one of the world's top gold producers, yet its people saw little of that wealth. That cycle is breaking, and the West doesn't know how to respond. Let's take it up a notch with Ghana. Unlike Burkina Faso or Niger, Ghana isn't in the AES bloc, but its gold policy is one of the boldest Africa has ever seen. Ghana now requires mining companies to sell 20% of all refined gold directly to its central bank. The purpose? To build Ghana's gold reserves and reduce dependence on the dollar and euro. For decades, Ghana's gold went straight to London and Switzerland, filling foreign vaults while Ghana struggled with currency crises. Not anymore. By keeping gold at home, Ghana is insulating itself from global shocks and reclaiming sovereignty. Think about it. Why should a nation that produces so much gold have to beg the IMF for loans? Ibrahim Traoré's message echoes here. Sovereignty begins with control over your resources. And the story isn't just about gold or uranium. Stay with us. This next part changes everything. Uganda, thousands of miles from the Sahel, made a move in 2021 that shook the coffee industry. It banned the export of raw agricultural products, including coffee and tea. Uganda, one of the top coffee producers in the world, was tired of doing the heavy lifting while Europe cashed in. For decades, Ugandan farmers grew the beans, but Western corporations roasted, packaged, and branded the coffee, selling it at a premium while farmers earned pennies. Uganda said, no more. Now coffee is roasted and packaged at home. The profits? Staying in Uganda. This is not just economics. This is dignity. Why should Uganda remain at the bottom of the coffee ladder, while Switzerland, a nation that grows zero beans, makes billions from the coffee trade? If you're still watching, Don't stop now, because this story is about to get even more dramatic. Zambia is another case study in resource control. Long known for its copper, Zambia has often been a quiet supplier of one of the world's most vital metals. Copper powers everything from construction to high-tech electronics. But now, Zambia is renegotiating deals, pushing foreign companies to invest locally and demanding that more value be added within its borders. No longer content to be just a mine for the West, Zambia is stepping into a new role as a partner with leverage. This is the same energy driving Ibrahim Traoré's Burkina Faso. Africa is no longer begging. Africa is bargaining from a position of strength. And then there's Tanzania. For years, Western corporations had sweetheart deals to extract Tanzania's gold, gas, and rare earths. But the government has been tearing up those deals, forcing renegotiations, and demanding better terms. Billions in back taxes have been levied against companies that once treated Tanzania as their playground. This is sovereignty in action, and it's part of the same wave of justice and resistance sweeping across Africa. Let's pause and ask the real question. What does all of this mean for the West? Western economies were built on the assumption that Africa would forever supply cheap resources. Oil, gold, uranium, cocoa, timber, coffee. Africa did the work. The West made the profit. Now 10 African nations have banned or restricted raw exports. They're forcing local processing, demanding fairer deals, and keeping value at home. And the ripple effect is global. Prices are rising, supply chains are breaking, Western profits are shrinking, and Western leaders, from Emmanuel Macron to the IMF, are suddenly realizing how vulnerable they're.
The heartbeat of
Thank you
African
for
resistance.
standing with us,
We bring you raw,
for standing with the
unfiltered
truth,
updates on
and for
Ibrahim
standing
Traoré,
with President
President
Ibrahim
of Burkina
Traoré.
Faso,
In these
the
trying
man
times,
challenging the
your
global
voice
system.
is powerful.
If you believe
Don't
in
just
truth,
watch, be
power,
part of the
and a
movement.
rising Africa,
Subscribe to
this
stay
is your home.
updated. Share
Subscribe
to
now.
awaken others.
Stand tall.
And head to the
Stay
comment
woke.
section.
Young
Tell us how you
patriots,
feel,
where
what you
revolution
believe,
lives.
and what